Well, welcome back. It's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Mark McAfee with Organic Pastures. Mark, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure. It's been a few months.
It's been a little while, and we're going to talk about all things milk. Did you know, and Mark informed me today, that beans don't lactate? And you know,
they do other things.
They do other things, but
they don't lactate.
I see all this milk at the market that's not milk.
It's not milk.
Yeah.
It's something made into a milky-like substance, but it's not milk.
And there's a lot of products out there, and I know that there's some regulation that may be coming down the pike here pretty soon to properly label those things. But when we talk about milk, and that's really what you're here to talk about is milk.
Yep.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the raw milk and organic milk business today.
Even conventional, the entire dairy market's really kind of on fire with buzz and having a lot of challenges and looking for solutions. You know, Mr. Gottlieb, who's the guys in charge of the FDA, he came out a couple months ago saying, hey, we're going to enforce on proper labeling of dairy products. In fact, beans don't lactate. It was a kind of a chuckle, but it's so true because there's so many milk alternatives out there right now. You got beans and hemp and macadamia nuts and almonds.
But there's a reason why there are alternatives out there, and that has to do with something called processing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got it.
One word, processing, right?
I think that's a very valuable thing to think about because the dairy industry has become so efficient and so cheap. They've been able to take anything that's coming from the cow and dump it in a milk tank and highly process it and sell it off as milk, which has really caused a big challenge with allergies and lactose intolerance. And so the pasteurization, it's made milk cheap and very available, but at the same time, it's really caused major problems with the consumers.
It's white, you drink it, it's got to be milk, but the problem is, once it gets past the top of the throat, it's got to get down into the gut.
Correct.
And when it gets into the gut, there's got to be some stuff going on down there to make it work properly.
Let's look at what milk is.
Okay.
2,500 different kinds of proteins. Hundreds of different kinds of bacteria, 700 different kinds of bacteria. A wonderful sugar called lactose. All kinds of different other things found in there. Minerals, bioavailable, good fats, all these things. Breast milk is raw milk. It's the first food of life.
Yes.
What's its role? To build an immune system and feed a baby at the most vulnerable time of life.
I've heard that rumor.
Yeah. Babies are born, the immune system is basically missing. And how does it get an immune system? 80% of the immune system is the biodiversity of gut bacteria and the food to feed that bacteria in the gut comes from mom.
And you know, Mark, in today's world, there's so many other processed foods and that, you know, this thing that we call our gut, which really is a really interesting chemical lab. If it's missing a lot of the chemicals necessary to properly process it, then what happens is we get a lot of unhealthy people.
We do. And you know what's interesting is babies cannot digest foods that are not whole. Mother's breast milk is a whole food. It's got all these things we just talked about.
Right.
A processed milk is missing all that.
Yes.
It has the protein, but in undenatured form. It doesn't have any enzymes left. Enzymes are completely destroyed. Probiotic bacteria and other pieces of bacteria, which causes a lot of allergies.
Right.
And all the other millions of things that we don't really completely understand about milk are not active. The baby doesn't have the ability to do all those other things. It needs a whole food. It doesn't have the digestive tract enzymes. It doesn't have...
And there happens to be a milk product that kind of fits that whole food definition, isn't there?
Correct. Breast milk, number one. But then when breastfeeding stops at 6, 8 months, whatever, raw milk continues that process very, very beautifully.
Raw milk is awesome. Like I was telling you before we went on the air, when my kids were little, I raised them with raw milk. I understand that and the importance of it, and they're healthy, big adults now, you know. But most people don't understand that. They go in the market, if it's white, if it's milk, they buy it, they take it home, and that's they don't think about it.
You're right.
But that same consciousness, when they're talking to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, we may have to do this procedure or whatever, they're still not thinking about it.
Right.
But you were telling me that you got a website.
Right.
Talk about this.
Well, Organic Pastures Dairy is our commercial website that talks about our products. But there's another website called Farmers Over Pharmacies. It never mentions any brands. So we can actually cross that commercial speech and talk about, hey, this is how you make real food become real medicine today and not be on Remicade or 6-MP or antibiotics to treat your gut that's on fire from irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's disease, which takes you down this really bad rabbit hole, which ends up with 130,000 colostomies a year. I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around that with plastic bags, pooping. Yeah. So that's supposed to be a logical place to go to get better? I'm sorry.
No, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work. So what you've got at Farmers Over Pharmacies is a pathway which is back to health. And we've got a wonderful young gal, Tara Rosas. She called herself King of the Throne because that's she sat on the toilet for years. But she discovered that she could rebuild her gut biome by simply making bone broth, which is fantastic collagens to kind of get the gut part, bone broth, and whole food nutrition, and lots of raw milk kefir. Well, and in 6 months, she was off all drugs. And by the way, she didn't have surgery, and she's fine.
So what I'm holding here in my hand is the equivalent of a prescription drug.
It is, literally.
But you can buy this over the counter.
Right. And no side effects, by the way.
There you go. And and I'll bet you there's no attorney looking to list all the different side effects that if you got one of those, call me because that's not out there. So tell me about raw kefir.
Raw kefir is raw whole milk.
Okay.
Put into a vat and warmed up to 75, 80 degrees, kind of even body temperature, kind of lower body temperature. And let's sit there with the addition of additional cultures, bacteria, and allows it to ferment for 36 hours.
So it's got all those probiotics and all.
Extremely probiotic.
Yeah, and it's very good for the gut.
And it's already pre-digested. So the lactose sugars have dropped a little bit. They've been converted into the lactase enzyme, then lactic acid.
Yeah.
And it's literally food of the ages. If you go back to ancient Roman times, you go to the Mediterranean diet, you go to the Balkan diet, go back 1,500 years, 15,000 years, you'll find mammalian milk stored in a gourd, and that was not a clean gourd.
No.
That had the cultures from the previous week.
And they didn't have a
refrigeration.
Ice box or refrigerator. No, that wasn't there. It was kept at room temperature, whatever that was.
Exactly.
And
that was the kefir, that was the culture, that was the yogurt like for the time. And that would truly be the fortification, the gut biome food of the ages, which we've lost out in the last 67 years.
So organic pastures has something to do with all this, right?
We do. Yeah. We've got a wonderful little dairy, which we invite the public to come visit us all the time out near Kerman, 7221 South Jamison. Call us. We'd love to tour you around. You can see the cows. You can see the milking. You can see where we make all these products on the farm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then the products leave the farm. We also have a test and hold program where we actually test the products. A Food Safety Network here in Fresno does a pathogen study so that we know exactly what's in the milk before it ever leaves. So very safe. Every day we do this test twice a day to assure that the milk. So safety has pretty much been relegated to the back. It's no longer an issue with raw milk. And you get this incredible medical food, which you can apply in your life, have healthy kids with no runny noses or ear infections or asthma, nails asthma. It's fantastic stuff.
Even for kids my age.
Good for bone density and really good for teeth.
There you go.
So it's food of the ages, and we've got a great place right here in Fresno. Across the United States, it's kind of spotty where you're going to find it or not, but pretty powerful stuff.
Very good. And we find you online again. Your webpage is
organicpastures.com, and then also Raw Milk Institute is a place for science.
Okay.
And we have Farmers Over Pharmacies telling the story of people that have used raw milk as fantastic food, as medicine to recover their lives.
And you got a Facebook page?
Yeah, Organic Pastures.
There you go. So you got many ways, including social media, to find them. This is, if you've never given much thought to that white stuff that's in the refrigerating section of your local market, it would behoove you to pay a little closer attention. This really is powerful stuff for a healthy body. Mark, thanks again.
Food is medicine. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for being on the show.
All right.
And we'll come back and we'll talk some more about this stuff.
You bet.
And I'll see you when we come back.
We'll see you at the farm.